Designing a kitchen isn't just about picking nice cabinets and beautiful worktops. It's about creating a space that actually works. And often at the heart of that is appliance placement. I've mentioned this before, but I think if designing a kitchen is a jigsaw puzzle, your appliances are the edge pieces. You need them in place and correct for the rest of the kitchen or puzzle to take shape. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly what to think about in order to place appliances properly in your kitchen layout. Step 1. Decide what appliances you actually need. Before you start worrying about where the fridge is going or whether the oven should sit in a tool housing unit, ask yourself one very simple question. What appliances do I actually use in my kitchen every single day? As not every appliance deserves prime real estate in your kitchen layout. And one of the mistakes I see is people designing around appliances they think they should have rather than the ones they genuinely use. Kitchens end up overcrowded, tool units get filled with things just for the sake of it, and prep space starts to get squeezed. So, start with the essential appliances. For most households, the true non-negotiables are your fridge, oven or range, hob or cooktop, dishwasher, and for some, maybe the microwave. These are your core working appliances, and your kitchen has to function around these. So when you're planning your kitchen layout, these should get the best positioning, as these are the foundation. Then start to think about secondary larger appliances. Things like wine fridges, warming drawers, steam ovens, built-in coffee machines, or secondary wall ovens. And think about what you're actually going to use. Now, don't get me wrong, these sorts of appliances can be brilliant. If you entertain constantly, a nice wine fridge totally makes sense. If you bake every weekend, having that second oven might make all the difference. But if these appliances only get used once every few months, are they worth sacrificing storage, prep space, or your budget? Don't be that person who installs a built-in espresso machine into their kitchen but doesn't even drink coffee. Sure, it looks impressive and it filled the cabinet nicely, but if you never use it, what's the point? The kitchen shouldn't be designed to impress strangers, it should be designed to support your daily routine. So have a think and decide what secondary larger appliances you genuinely need, and then move on to the small appliances. This is the category that causes the most clutter. The ones we all use constantly, things like your toaster, kettle, coffee machine, air fryer, stand mixer, blender. You get the idea. These are the sneaky appliances because they rarely get planned for properly, but they often live permanently out on your worktops, and suddenly that beautiful clear countertop in your 3D designs is completely gone. So here's what I always recommend. Be honest about what stays out every day. If the kettle and toaster never move, plan a dedicated zone for them. If you love your coffee machine, give it a proper home. If you use an air fryer daily, don't pretend it's going back into a cupboard. When you acknowledge these appliances early in the design process, you avoid clutter later on. So the order should always be this. Start with the true essentials, add secondary larger appliances only if your lifestyle justifies them, and plan properly for small appliances you actually use daily. Consider all of this first, and your appliance placement will already be smarter before you've even drawn a layout. Step 2. Your kitchen layout dictates appliance placement. It's never a good idea to try and force appliance placement. You might have the perfect idea in your head of where the fridge should go, but your room shape always wins. The size and layout of your space will heavily influence where appliances can go and how well they will function together. So rather than fighting the natural layout, learn to work with it. And in open plan layouts, appliance placement becomes about more than just function. It's about how the kitchen interacts with the rest of your home. So your room and layout will have the most impact on where you can place appliances to give you the best results in terms of function, flow, and aesthetics. Step 3. Plan your workflow. This is one that some people don't think about, and they just focus on where things can fit instead of asking how things can flow together. Think about how you actually cook and use your kitchen. Typically, you take food out of the fridge, you put it down somewhere, you wash and prep it, you cook it, and you plate it, and then eventually you wash up or load the dishwasher. If your appliance placement significantly interrupts that order, you'll start to feel those points of friction. It might not be anything dramatic, but it'll be the little annoyances. Take the fridge, for example. If you take food out of the fridge and your nearest clear worktop is across the room, that's inefficient. Those extra steps, those awkward turns, or those moments where you're always bumping into someone. Ideally, your fridge should sit near your main prep area, so food comes out, it lands, and you start working. No awkward walking across the room or doubling back around yourself to find that area of clear worktop. And the same applies when cooking. You want your range or hob near that main prep area to continue the flow as you cook your dinner. So think about the overall workflow in the kitchen and try to place the appliances or working zones that house these main appliances in a fashion that flows naturally from one to the other. And these zones can definitely overlap. Just make sure it's a logical overlap that facilitates the flow of cooking. And just to say, people will use kitchens in different ways, and the flow that they have will be different. It's about thinking and creating the correct flow for the way that you work in your kitchen. Step 4, the technical details. Now you've got a good idea of where to place your appliances that support a natural cooking flow. Look at them in a little more detail and make sure they are positioned optimally within these areas that you've identified. With a fridge, make sure it has enough side clearance for the door to open fully past 90 degrees and space to stand in front of it and actually pull out shelves and the drawers out towards you. If the fridge door can't open to its full angle, you won't be able to pull out any of the internal drawers, and that becomes very annoying very quickly. And don't forget about your landing zone. Ideally, you want at least 30 centimeters or 12 inches, preferably 60 centimeters or 24 inches of clear counter space next to your fridge. Not decorative space, not space filled with a toaster and a coffee machine, clear, usable space so you can take what you need out of the fridge and place it down ready. And if that's not possible directly beside it, make sure there's a landing surface close by. Oftentimes that's a kitchen island opposite it. And around your range, hob, or cooktop, space becomes quite critical. Let's say you want at least 30 centimeters, 12 inches of clear counter space on either side. Again, I prefer closer to 60 centimeters if I can. This space allows for pan handles to sit safely, prep to happen nearby, or plating up without juggling hot pots around. And please avoid placing a hob right up against a wall or right on the edge of an island. It gives me a mild panic attack every time I see it. And with your hob, you also need to think about ventilation. What type of extraction are you going to use? Is it wall-mounted, a ceiling extractor, or maybe a downdraft system? Do you have the correct cabinet structure to support this type of extraction as well? And is there space to run ducting to the outside if it's required? Your hob and your extractor need to work together. So depending on what type of appliances you want or where you want to place them in your layout will determine both of these things. With any wall ovens, typically they should be installed roughly between waist and chest height, but what matters most is you. Think about your height, what you can comfortably lift, and who else is using the kitchen. Don't put ovens so high up in a tool cabinet that reaching into them feels dangerous. And be careful about stacking multiple ovens vertically if the top one becomes difficult to access. Especially so if the door on the oven at the top drops down, it all becomes more difficult to access safely. And again, landing zones are very important alongside ovens. This one is about safety as much as it is convenience. When you pull a hot tray out of the oven, you need somewhere immediately to set it down. Not 5 steps away, not across on the other side of the island. You need somewhere right there near the ovens. Personally, I'd say you want at least 60 centimeters or 24 inches of clear worktop space near your oven, so you can place a tray down on a trivet. Remember to protect those worktops. And with most wall ovens being 60 centimeters wide, your baking trays are going to be the same or slightly smaller. Hence why I like to have 60 centimeters or more for a landing zone. With your dishwasher, you need around 90 centimeters or about 36 inches clear in front for when the door is fully open and down. So check it's got the space it needs and it doesn't interrupt with the rest of the layout. With the door down, can someone still walk past easily, or does it clash with any other doors in the kitchen? Don't forget to kind of mentally test all of these appliance openings. Also, pay attention to where you locate your dishwasher in relation to where your plates, glasses, and cutlery are stored, because unloading the dishwasher shouldn't require crossing the kitchen repeatedly. Now, microwaves can go in a variety of places, built into tool housing, integrated into a wall cabinet, or just on your worktop. But wherever it goes, pay attention to its height and again, the landing space around it. Similar to a wall oven, it shouldn't be installed so high that lifting hot bowls becomes risky, especially if the whole family uses it. But as they're generally slightly smaller, you can get away with a smaller landing zone if you have to. And you want this space either directly below or above or beside it, so you're not caught out holding something really hot with nowhere safe to place it down. Appliance placement isn't just about squeezing everything into the space. It's about creating a kitchen that feels intuitive, one where movement and flow between tasks makes sense, where you're not constantly adjusting or working around poor positioning. So start with the appliances that you genuinely need, but don't forget to plan for those small appliances somewhere as well. Work with your room's natural layout, but prioritize workflow. Remember to check your clearances and heights, and never forget landing space. Do all of that, and your kitchen won't just look polished in photos, it will feel effortless to use every day. So I'm interested to know, have you seen any appliance placement mistakes? What were they and what sort of chaos did they cause? Let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, I'm sure you'll enjoy this one, where I go into designing with zones in a little bit more detail. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.